Hi, you students. Welcome back to you after the summer vacation, and I hope you utilize the time whatever given to you during the summer break. And we are basically doing the chapter magnetic effect of the electric current, and we started before the summer break. Lots of things we have already done in this particular chapter. We understood the meaning of the magnet, magnetic field lines, and the properties of the magnetic field lines. We also understood that if a charge is placed within a magnetic field, then it will get the force given by the formula BQV sin theta that was discussed in the last class. And we are going to continue the same topic, and then we will move to the next topic today itself. So I hope you will find interest in the class. So let's start the class now. So in the previous class we understood that if we have a magnetic field, uniform magnetic field B, and if a charge is placed, let it be plus Q, and if this charge is in motion, means it is having some velocity V, then it can experience of force given by BQV sin theta. And I have already explained all the terms, what is F, what is B, what is Q, what is V, and what is theta here. So in the previous class we understood this much, that is a charge will experience the force, but we understood that if theta is 0 degree or 180 degree, then force will be BQV sin 0 degree is equal to 0 is equal to BQV sin 180 degree. That is, if a charge is moving parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field, then in that case it will not experience the force. So what does it mean? Let's understand this concept. If the force is not there on the charge, then what will happen to the charge when it is placed within a magnetic field? So if I imagine a magnetic field B and the charge moving in a particular direction with velocity V, so the direction of the charge is parallel, or we can take it anti-parallel. Okay, so in this case the force will be 0. Means we know from the Newton's second law F is equal to ma, or we can say A is equal to F by m, and since F is 0, then acceleration is 0. So we can say here there is no acceleration. Now two things can be analyzed here. That is, the very first thing is, if we have A as 0, what does it mean? This velocity is constant or uniform. Means if a charge Q moving with uniform velocity V parallel to the magnetic field B, it will have no change in the velocity, means it will have no acceleration. So if a charge is placed which is in motion and moving parallel to the magnetic field, it will continue to move along the same direction, because overall there is no force acting on the charge, and hence its acceleration will be 0. So throughout the time within the magnetic field, the charge will continue to move in the same direction without any change in the velocity. So whether we have theta 0 degree or theta 180 degree, in both the case the acceleration given to the charge will be 0, means the magnetic field will not bring any change in the velocity of the charge placed in the magnetic field. So we can simply say that in the note we can write down, if theta is 0 degree or 180 degree, then F is equal to 0, which means acceleration is 0. It means that the charge, that is plus Q, will continue to move along same direction with same speed, that is V is uniform. So that we can analyze from this concept here. Okay, so that is one thing, and it is understood if theta is non-zero or non-vanity degree, in that case force will be there, and if the force will be there, then overall acceleration will be there. So this is one thing we can write down, and next thing we can write down here, that is if theta is non-zero or non-180 degree, then force will be BQV sin theta, and hence F is equal to MA, which means A will be, this will be non-zero, understood? So force is non-zero now, so acceleration will be F by M, which will also be non-zero. So overall there will be some acceleration, means the charge will start accelerating when it is placed within the magnetic field at the angle other than 0 degree or 180 degree. So this you can remember, it will have acceleration. So we can say charge plus Q will accelerate. And meaning of acceleration we have already done in the previous class, that is 9. It will have a change in the velocity. So I hope you understood this much. This was not discussed in the previous class. Now I am moving to the next topic, which is based on this only. So now the next topic we have is, if we have a straight conductor. So this is a conductor, and this conductor is connected with some circuit, so that it will have a current in a particular direction. So I'm not making the complete circuit here, but just imagine we have a conductor, a straight conductor, and current I is flowing through this particular conductor. And now since the current is flowing through this conductor, it will behave as a magnet. You understood? Magnet effect. So now this conductor is converted into a magnet because of the electric current, and now if this conductor is placed within some magnetic field B, then what will happen? This is one magnet, the conductor itself, and the external magnet we have, and we understood if the two magnets will come close to each other, what will happen? It will get the force, that is magnetic force. So even this conductor will experience force. So in the previous topic we understood a charge which is in motion and that behaves as a magnet, and it starts getting force in a magnetic field, that is external magnetic field. Same thing is happening here. We have the conductor and the current is flowing through the conductor, so this conductor itself is behaving as a magnet, and once this will be placed within some external magnetic field or nearby some magnet, this conductor will start getting a force, and that is what we are going to discuss now. So again, for this we don't have any derivation, but we'll have a formula which will help you to understand the entire concept, and this will help you to understand the concept of electric motor. Okay, so the topic we have is force experienced by a conductor carrying current, in the bracket I am writing, placed in a magnetic field. Okay, so for this we can have a very simple activity that can be done in the school, that is in the laboratory. Not now, it's not possible because we need the materials. So just imagine we have a stand. So to understand this, we just have a simple activity explanation. So let this be a stand. Okay, and we have a circuit, that is a wire having two different ends, and that may be hanged with the help of this and this is connected with a conductor. Okay, let's modify this diagram. So this is a conductor which is connected with a wire, and the wire is non-insulating, that is the current can flow through this conductor, and this wire is basically a part of the circuit. So I'm making the diagram here. So these two wires are basically the part of a circuit with power supply and a switch. Okay, so I hope the setup is clear. We need to do the setup in the lab, but this is just to understand the concept here. We have this stand. With this stand, we are trying to hang one conductor, a straight conductor maybe, and that is connected with the wires, and that wire is finally connected to the power supply and a switch, such that when the current will, when the switch will be on, the current will flow through the wire and the current will flow through the conductor. So if this is positive, the current will flow in this direction once the switch will be on. So I will be this. So according to this, current will flow through this conductor in particular direction. So this is what I am trying to explain here. A stand with wire which is supporting a conductor, and this wire and conductor are connected so that the current can flow through this conductor also, and we have a power supply and the switch for the circuit. Okay, so overall this is the setup. Now I am not writing conductor here. I hope you understood. This is the wire, you understood. Okay, and this conductor is placed between a horseshoe magnet. So I hope the diagram is somewhat clear. This is north maybe and south pole. So this is your horseshoe magnet. Okay, so when we connect the circuit is switched off, so there is no current in the circuit. So I hope this setup is clear to you. Now we have a horseshoe magnet, and within the north and the south pole of the horseshoe magnet, the conductor is placed, and that conductor is finally connected with the power supply with the help of the switch. Now say this horseshoe magnet will have the magnetic field. So if I show these dotted points are the space where we have the magnetic field of this horseshoe magnet. Even this side we have. So nearby this horseshoe magnet there will be some magnetic field produced by this horseshoe magnet itself. And now once this switch will be on, what will happen? The current will flow through this wire, and then current will flow through this conductor. And once the current will flow through this conductor, what will happen? This conductor will start behaving as a magnet, and once it will start behaving as a magnet, we have another magnet, horseshoe magnet. So it is understood this conductor will start getting some magnetic force, because when two magnets come together they give force to each other. So if you are holding this horseshoe magnet, means the horseshoe magnet is fixed so that it cannot move, but we are switching on the circuit. So suddenly what will happen? What will be your observation? That the time you switch on the circuit, this conductor will move in a particular direction. It will move because it will get the force by the horseshoe magnet. Why? Because this conductor will itself behave as a magnet when the current will flow through this conductor. So this is the activity which you can explain yourself, and that can be as a homework, that is explanation. You can try yourself, because I cannot write this much on the board. I am repeating again, you have to explain this activity in your language. What we have, that is, first you have to talk about the setup, what things we have, and then the time you switch on the circuit, what will be your observation. Okay, and whatever observation you will have, why. So it is understood, the time the current will flow through this conductor, it will start behaving as a magnet, and since two magnets will give force to each other, that is magnetic force, so the conductor will experience a force, and hence it will move in a particular direction. And the time you switch it off, this conductor will no more be a magnet, so automatically it come back to the initial position. that is how this activity can be explained. And for this we are going to have a particular formula which will help you to understand that if the force is given to this particular conductor when placed in the magnetic field, then how much is that force, in which case the force will be maximum, minimum, because the way you place the conductor, the way you place the magnet, how much current is flowing in the circuit, all things will decide how much force will be given to this conductor and in which direction this conductor will move. That is what we are going to discuss now. So activity part you can try yourself. That is explanation. Don't try this activity at home because for that you need a good setup. Okay. So overall the concept is, if we have a magnetic field again B and any conductor, straight conductor, okay, of length L. So the length of this conductor is L, that you have to remember, and the current flowing through this conductor is I, and this conductor is placed at some angle with the magnetic field theta. So overall what things we have? We have the magnetic field capital B, and here we are basically talking about uniform magnetic field, because you can see the magnetic field lines I am drawing which are parallel, so the B is almost uniform. We have taken a conductor L which is connected with the circuit. I am not showing the circuit now, so that the current I is flowing through the conductor in a particular direction. The length of the conductor is L, and this conductor is placed at the angle of theta with the magnetic field B. So in this case the force given to the conductor will be BIL sine theta. So BIL sine theta, that is how we can remember BIL sine theta. So we can say where F, the force on the conductor, B is clear, that is magnetic field which are talking about again and again. L is the length of conductor, and theta is understood, that is the angle between what? The conductor and the magnetic field. The conductor, that is we can say the length, and B. So that is how we are going to explain this particular topic with the help of this formula, which is again very important. Again I am repeating this formula, how it comes. We have a particular derivation in class 12 and we are not going for any derivation, but I am using this formula so that your concept can be more clear. That is how we can talk about the force given to a particular conductor, and this formula is not so critical to understand also. This is the way BIL sine theta, that is how you can remember. Okay, so I hope this much is clear. That is, the force given to this conductor will be given as BIL sine theta, and based on this formula we can talk about in which case the force will be maximum, minimum, and no force, all we can discuss now. So let's go for the different condition one by one. Okay, so different case we can say. Case 1, if theta is 0 degree or theta is 180 degree. So it is understood, if the magnetic field is in this direction and the conductor is placed parallel to this, such that the current I is flowing through this conductor. So in this case we can say theta is 0 degree or theta 180 degree. So if the current is flowing in this direction, we can say theta is 0 degree. If the current will flow in opposite direction, we can say theta is 180 degree. Means overall conductor is parallel to the magnetic field. So it is understood, F will be BIL sine theta, and we know sine 0 degree, sine 180 degree, both are 0. So overall BIL sine 0 degree is nothing but 0, because sine 0 degree is 0. And same with the 180 degree also. Okay, so or BIL sine 180 degree is also 0, because sine 180 degree is also 0. So it is understood, if we have placed the conductor parallel to the magnetic field, and if you switch on the circuit, then nothing will happen, because the conductor will not experience any force. So there will be no change in the position of the conductor, means overall you will not be able to see any displacement, any movement in the conductor. Okay, so this is one thing I hope you understood. No force will be acting on the conductor, and this is parallel to the magnetic field. Let's go for other case, that is 2. If theta is 90 degree, so we can place the conductor 90 degree to the, so this is the length of the conductor and I is flowing in the conductor. Okay, so this angle is nothing but 90 degree. So this is the conductor and this is the magnetic field, this direction. So overall in this case, the force given will be BIL sine 90 degree, that is BIL only, because sine 90 degree is 1. And we know the maximum value of sine theta is 1 only. So it is understood the maximum value of force will be BIL. So we can say this is nothing but F maximum. So in this case the conductor will get maximum force. So if you do the setup such that the conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field, and if you switch on the circuit so that the current I will flow through the conductor, it will get magnetized, and the time it will get magnetized it will experience the force. So it will show you displacement. It will move in a particular direction. In which direction will it move, that we are going to discuss now only, so not to worry. So we understood the force will be maximum, that is given by BIL. And one more thing can be discussed here. If we have to increase the force, in this case also what can be done, increase the magnetic field, because F is proportional to B. So overall in the note we can say that is F is proportional to B, proportional to I, proportional to L. From this formula, means stronger is the magnetic field, more will be the force. It is understood, if the magnet is very strong, the force will be stronger, and that is what we are getting from this relation. I, we know if I will increase, then this conductor will have a good strength of magnetic field. So with the increase in the current in this conductor itself, it will become a better magnet. So it will again get maximum force, more force, and length also. So once you increase the length, so it will have a longer space which is covered by it, and a longer magnet, and it is understood with the increase in the length of the magnet, again the force experienced by it will increase. So in this topic we have covered the force given to a conductor in a magnetic field can be 0 if it is parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field, will be maximum when the theta is 90 degree, that is BIL. And in that case also we can decide how to increase the force. We can increase the magnetic field, we can increase the current, we can increase the length of the conductor. I hope this much is clear to you. And it is understood if you talk about the third case, if theta is non-zero, theta is non-180 degree, and theta is non-90 degree. So if we have the theta between 0 degree to 180 degree, means not the 180 not the 0 degree, in between the two, whatever angles we have, all angles will be giving the force to the conductor, but the maximum will be at this position, and here and here no force. In between what will happen, the force will increase. So starting from no force, 0, the force will start increasing. Once the conductor will have increase in the angle, once it will become 90 degree, force will become maximum, and once it will start moving, backward, what will happen? Again the force will start decreasing with the angle, that is with the increase in the angle, and again 180 degree the force will become 0. So here force is 0, here force is 0, in between we have non-zero force. So I hope you understood this much, and this is what we should know in this topic. And since this conductor is experienced a force, it will move in a particular direction, and in which direction this conductor will move, for that we have a particular rule now. Okay, so that is given by Fleming's only, and we call it Fleming left hand rule. Sorry. Okay, so this is to identify the direction, okay, of force given to the conductor, that is carrying current, conductor carrying current placed in a magnetic field. So sometime it comes, what is the use of Fleming's left hand rule? So very first you should know why we are using it. So this basically helps to identify the direction of force given to the conductor which is carrying the current, and when it is placed in the magnetic field. So we understood, if a conductor will have a current and if it is placed in a magnetic field, okay, so if it will get the force, then in which direction this force will be given to the conductor, and that is what we are going to discuss, and that is given by the Fleming only, and we call it Fleming's left hand rule because we are going to use the left hand to understand all the concepts. One thing you have to remember, this rule is given only in the case when the force is maximum. Okay, so if force is maximum, that is BIL, that is here theta is 90 degree. So the rule we are going to talk about is in the case where the force is maximum, that is the conductor is placed perpendicular to the magnetic field. Okay, so depending upon the direction of the current is upward, current is downward, direction of the magnetic field, we can identify in which direction this force will be given, because force is a vector, magnetic field is a vector. Okay, so overall we are going to talk about the direction of force. So this you have to remember when F max via BIL. So in all the case we are going to place this conductor perpendicular to the magnetic field so that the force can be maximum. Okay, so I hope you understood this much. Now let's talk about the rule. So it says that if we are having the left hand and we stretch the three fingers perpendicular to each other, mutually perpendicular, okay, this is perpendicular to this is perpendicular to this, and this is perpendicular to this also. So all three are perpendicular to each other, okay, such that we have to imagine now, such that this is your center finger C, this is your forefinger F, this is your thumb T. So very first let's understand one by one. So I'm not writing the statement. If you have to give the statement, you must write down, we stretch the center finger, forefinger and the thumb mutually perpendicular to each other of the left hand such that okay, so here we have C, that is center finger shows direction of current. So how to remember this? Here we have C, center finger, here we have C, current. C for center finger, C for current. So this finger shows the direction of current, which is center finger. This is your forefinger. Okay, in the forefinger we have F, and this F for magnetic field. So just remember field, F. So F for field, C for current. So this shows the direction of current, this shows the direction of magnetic field, and now according to this rule, this T, that is thumb, then we can write down, then thumb shows direction of force. So we can write down thrust or force. So we know T for thrust, and the meaning of thrust, you know, it is nothing but the force. Okay, this is how you can remember. If we are given the three, that is the current flowing in a conductor having placed in a magnetic field, then it will get the force that will be given by the thumb. So if we apply this left hand and the three fingers, we can identify in which direction the thumb is pointing. That will be the direction of force given to the conductor, means the conductor will move in that direction. Okay, so I hope the rule is clear, and let's take one or two examples so that it will be understood. Am I clear? I think I am clear. C for current, F for field, and T for thrust. Okay, so I am repeating the statement once again. If we stretch the center finger, forefinger and thumb of the left hand, which are mutually perpendicular to each other, such that center finger shows the direction of the current, forefinger shows the direction of magnetic field, then thumb will show the direction of force or thrust to the conductor. Okay, so just take an example. So let's see, we have a magnetic field B in this direction. So let's take example. Okay, so let it be example 1, and the conductor is again placed perpendicular. Okay, and let the current is moving upward. So this is case 1. Now we have to rotate our hand in different direction to adjust. What we have to adjust? We have to adjust our finger along B, we have to adjust our finger along I. Automatically thumb will come somewhere, then that will show the direction of force. So we understood this is the magnetic field, so we'll place this along this direction, it is given. So forefinger along this direction, that is towards my right this time. Current is upward, so I hope this is the condition here. Forefinger pointing in this direction, current is upward, this is shown by this, and thumb is towards the board in this condition. So it is understood in this case the force given to this conductor will be into the board, that is inward. I hope it is understood. So we can say force is inward. Okay, F for force. Okay, I am repeating again. We have to adjust these two fingers along the direction of current and the field. Automatically thumb will come in a particular direction, that will give the direction of force, because this rule is to identify the direction of force. So we are not going to adjust the thumb, we are going to adjust the two, that is current and the field. So in the given condition, I have shown magnetic field along this direction. So this forefinger is pointing along magnetic field, current is upward, that is in the upward direction. So now in this situation my thumb is pointing towards the board, that is the force should be inward. So according to this Fleming's left hand rule, the force will be inward. Example 1. Let's take example 2. Let the magnetic field is along same direction and make the current downward. Here also it is 90 degree, here also it is 90 degree. So this is not changing. Okay, only we have reversed the direction of current, and once we reverse the direction of current, the force will also get changed. Okay, so now in this case what we have, magnetic field this way, current is downward now, and now this you can see the thumb is towards you. Okay, towards my camera, means it is out of the board. So it is understood here. In this case the force will be out of the board, so we can say force is outward. So here force is outward, but it is perpendicular. Okay, the force will be perpendicular to the board in this case also, in this case also. The only difference is in this case the conductor will be getting the force towards the board. Here it will be getting the force out of the board. So anyway, this condition can be given to you, the conductor can be given to you in a particular direction, current is there in a particular direction, magnetic field is there, and then you have to find out in which direction the force will be given to the conductor, and for this you can apply a simple rule that is called Fleming's selection rule, and that will help you to understand and identify it. So I hope you understood this much today. We started with the force experienced by a charge, means if it is not getting any force, then what will happen to the charge in a magnetic field? If there is a force, what will happen to the charge in the magnetic field? Say, then we understood that if a conductor itself having a current placed in the magnetic field, it must get the force because it also behaves as a magnet when the current is flowing through the conductor. And once the force will be given to that conductor will move in a particular direction, and that direction we can find out with the help of the Fleming's selection rule. That is a very simple rule to identify, and this will help you to understand the concept of motor, that is the working of the motor, the electric motor. That will be our next topic. So I hope this much you understood, but still if you have any doubt related to the class today or the previous classes, you must write down the doubts so that whenever we have live session doubt classes we can discuss. And I am repeating one thing again, that before you see the next video, that is this video, you must have the understanding of the previous video so that you can relate. Otherwise the things will not be so clear to you. So you must see each and every video, only then you can have a good understanding of the concept which I am trying through this online modules. Thank you for today. Hari Om. Take care.